Well, hello to you all on the YouTube community, and also to my subscribe subscribers in my channel. It's been almost half a year that I did posted my last video on my channel. Sometimes, how can I say, life becomes more hard and complicated than we expecting, or than we are thinking about it. So, not wanting to, well, explain my personal lives and problems. Well, I was out of YouTube for a quite long time, and recently I still read Bleach and Fairy Tail, and I do watch some series. Probably this video I intended to talk a little bit about Bleach 500, 600, better saying 619, the Betrayer, but I will do that at the end of the video. Probably this video will be a very long one, in a way, because I decided to give some thoughts on the series since chapter 593 or 594, when I uploaded my last video. And it was in the junction when the battle between Grammy and Zaraki was already starting, or was almost starting, along those lines. So, starting the part, starting from regarding the Stern Readers, I think I can fairly speak about the Stern Readers, since most of them already have perished at this time in the story so far. So I will say that my favorite Stern Readers, I like the Busby, obviously. I think the guy survived because I think he appears in the last chapter, or in the chapter before that. We have a small panel with him near a wall, something, depleted of all power because of the taking of the powers that Yua did to revive his 4 elite Stern Readers there that are with him in the Soul Palace. So Busby was an interesting character, and I think that honestly, I think that Kubo is not finished with the role of Busby in the story. I don't know exactly how, when, but I think that Busby still will have to play some role in the story before the story finishes. I say the same about Lil Toto, the girl, because she was one of my favorite. She is one of my favorite Stern Readers, because she is always cool from the battles that she took part, or when she appeared in the chapters. She was always leveled head. She has a cool way of thinking. a cold way of thinking, a strategic way of thinking. So I think that she will also have some kind of role to play until the end of the series. Um, I was happy to finally know the name of the mustache Stern Ritter, the old Stern Ritter. Sadly, the way that Kubo used this character, it was very. It annoyed me because the character was a cool-looking. It could be a very interesting character with potential because since I was in the beginning expecting, since the guy was a very old guy, he would be experienced, he could bring some kind of high contribute to the cause of the Quincy's, but the way that Kubo finishes him is sad in the least. But in the least, we know his letter. Um, and I remember that in one video that I did, I pointed the possibility of this guy be Terminator, and but I don't remember, it was almost half a year ago. So but that character was misused by Kubo alongside other characters. He continued to troll down Shinji to the maximum. That made me very sad. Um, the deaths of Kensei and Rose do not surprise me. I was expecting that Kensei will have a more proficuous role in the story, but maybe he will appear in some kind of flashback when the group that is with Urahara reaches the Soul Palace, because Shuhei was trained by him. So maybe we see some other aspects about the training, maybe eventually when Shuhei arrives on the Soul Palace with the remaining um, exterminators, and I still think that Shuhei probably has at this point reached the state of achieving a Bankai, so it's quite possible that we will see something more about Kensei. The thing that is kinda irritating me in a way is, for instance, Mashiro. Where the hell is the girl? She appeared in the training with Shuhei, and then apparently Kubo forgot about her, so it's kinda strange in that way. Um, Also, I do hope that in the future, because I was expecting the arrival of Grimjaw for some quite time now, but Kubo still does not apparently intend to use Grimjaw, but I still think that Grimjaw and the people in Hueco Mundo, the rankers, will have a role to play. Um, Maybe in a stupid way, if he decides to go that way, to like the situation we did with Heisen in the final battle. He gathered all the characters and then they were taken out by Eisen. If he goes that way with Grimjaw and the other Hollows, is kinda depressing, to say it in the least. Um, as regarding the Fullbringers, the same. I think that Ginju and Tsukishima, they do have some potential to be interesting characters in a way. The old dude that was cut down by Kenpachi in the Fullbringer arc, not so much. But no, I don't know. I don't know. I still think that eventually for the Fullbringers to step in, when they appear, they will be alongside probably Kukako, maybe some remnants of the Quincy's like Basby and Lil Toto. I don't know how, but it's a possibility that they all band together in a way that the Fullbringers, since they are serving the Shiba, we will also could see eventually Ishin coming to the Soul Society, join with the Shiba family, with his niece Ukako, and alongside the Fullbringers and eventually some Quincy remains, they could be another force that could be band together to fight against Shua. Obviously, each one with their own motives. If that happened, the Quincy's that remain probably could join hands with them as to extract revenge for being used by Yua. Maybe that could be their motivation. The Ishin could and should appear because since the death of the Soul King, apparently, not only Soul Society but Wikomundo and the human world are being affected by that. And since Ishin, I think he cares about his daughters, probably that could be the motive for him to take some kind of action and join in the fight. In the least, I'm hoping that happens in the near future. Um, Regarding the Iron Cars, maybe they took this opportunity to kind of go to the Silburn Palace and try to free Aribel, and then under the command of Aribel and Grimjaw, maybe they will join the fight to prevent the destruction of a celestial order that exists in the world of Bleach, and it is being uh, destroyed by the death of the Soul King. About Soul Society per se, um, I don't know what will happen with Ukitake, for instance, because if what we did see in this chapter, if the Soul King is permanently dead and if Kamikate is also killed in this attack of Chua, and since Kamikate is linked with Ukitake, I kinda think that if Kamitake is taken out and if he is destroyed, killed, annihilated, I think that's most likely that Ukitake will also perish in the process. So about Shunsui and Aizen, from what we did see in the last two chapters, and even Ichibei did say that when Ichigo and his group arrived at Soul Society, Ichibei say something that he is so sorry because Ichigo and his group will not be able to stop Yuan. So I think that this chapter basically is setting up that probably the great battle that Ichigo could possibly have is not against Yua but against Ishida. Um, they are friends, yes, but we could not forget that they are rivals, and Ishida, even if he did help Soul Society and if he did help um, fight back in the against Aizen and the forces of Aizen and in Wikomundo and such, you should remember that Ishida always said that he was only doing this not because he wanted to save Soul Society or the Shinigami, because he still despises them, and Ishida did not forget, for instance, what Mayuri did to his grandfather that he respected a lot and such. So I don't see Ishida having the ability to forget or forget what Soul Society and the Shinigami did to his family. Not much about it's the question with Ishida. I think it's not much about the Quincy race, but is more like the way that apparently Kubo arranged the setting up for Ishida is because the fight that Ishida brings to Soul Society, even if he needs to pair with uh, the other Quinces and Yuabach and such, is not a situation because he follows blindly or believes blindly in the Emperor of the Quinces, but it's more personal vengeance for him about his grandfather and the death of his grandfather that was his master and that he respected a lot. So, and in that situation, I think that was the thorough process of Ishida to probably because he knows he stated or it was stated that he knows about what happened to his mother and knows that his mother died because of the selection that Jua did to revive himself. But I think that even if he does have some hatred towards the Emperor of the Quincies, I guess his hatred towards Soul Society and what they did to his grandfather and to his master and to his family is a lot more stronger than against the Quincies. I do not say that in the back corner of his mind. I do not say that he is not eventually thinking that after he have his revenge on Soul Society and such, he will be able to take out Yua. I don't know, but it's possible that in the back corner of his mind he is thinking something along those lines. Um, so it's possible. Um, as for this chapter proper, um, this chapter was I don't like it much of the chapter because of the situation with Yua himself, because he goes with the speech of basically the same as Aizen. This is something that is kind of irritating me about Yua, not only in this chapter but in the past chapters, because apparently Kubo is using the same mechanics that he did with Aizen in a different way, but the mechanics behind it is the same. Aizen always did say that it's all according to my plans, and all what you did, what you will do, I decided, I manipulated you to do it in that way. You would say the same in a different way, and in this chapter he kind of proves it because he says that all that Ishigo, for instance, did was because of his will and because of his blood and because of his heritage and because he is connected with Jua, and all that happened to Ishigo, all is according to the plan decided by Jua for Ishigo. That's kind of irritating, and in a broader sense, we also, when Yua says, I think it's 4 or 5 chapters ago, when he sees that he possesses the power of the Almighty, he sees all in the future, he predicts what will happen and such. This is kind of too much cliche, and I was kind of expecting that Kubo did some different about Jua. But this is the situation with Jua that is kinda irritating me. I'm not saying that the guy is not powerful, because he is, and it was proven in this fight mainly uh, against Ishibai. He is in fact uh, a all-powerful being, uh, that could rival in a way uh, with the Soul King, but even the situation with the Soul King, you a Soul King, um, it's very foggy, and I think that it needs kind of some further explanation eventually in the future about because we objectively can see that yes, it's reasonable that the Quincy's ate the Soul Society and the Shinigamis and the Soul King, that in ultimate case is the leader, is the ruler of Soul Society. It makes sense because the Shinigami hunt down the Quincy's and destroy the Quincy's. But on the other side of the same coin, we see the Quincy's. The Quincy's, according to Soul Society, the use the way they do and the way they use their powers, they disturb the balance, they perturb the balance between the transition of souls from one place to another. So they disrupt the celestial order of the world of Bleach. So, but it's a situation that is complicated. I do understand the reasons from both sides to hating each other and to desire to kill each other. It's kind of what we could say in a way a historical rivalry between two peoples, two groups. Um, and it's kind of a war that using for instance example of European history during the 14th century Europe, there was a conflict, a military conflict between two countries, the Kingdom of France and the Kingdom of England, and it was a conflict that um, war did go on for 100 and such years. I think in a way Kubo kinda took maybe this mechanic of the war of the 100 years in Europe and then he kinda plunged it to the universe of Bleach, or he could use some other aspects of Japanese history like it was in the Sengoku Jidai period, the late part of the Muromachi, when the country was divided between factions and all of them vowed for power in Japan. So I think that behind this mechanic of these great wars, we have to make some kind of strange historical background. He could use that as examples for kind of creating this setting up between the Soul Society and the Quincy's. Um, Also, in the future, because I'm finishing, in the future, I don't know if I will do videos in a weekly basis schedule because I still don't have time and it's complicated. But maybe from time to time, if I can and have the time for it, I will do some videos. So this was kind of a spur of the moment that I did it, and since I did not post nothing from the almost half a year, even for all of you that are my subscribers, I think that I do owns you some kind of explanation about why my long absence of YouTube. That's it, and like always, stay well, stay healthy, stay happy, and see you around.